Hello everyone, welcome. Today, we're going to a wedding, but not any wedding. A wedding of great proportions that will be on the headlines of every newspaper as 5 of the strongest sisters in the world battle each other for a love that doesn't even know any of them exist. Yeah, this is Sisters Royale. Now, I would label this game as a spin-off of another series, since a character is a reference to a character in that series, Castle of Shikigami. Now, I've never played that series. I do actually own one of the PS2 games. I think it was the third entry. But apparently this game mimics, can't remember if it was the third or the second one, but I've never played the mainline entries, so I'm not familiar with them, and I'm not a big shmup person to begin with, so that's something to keep in mind as I talk about this. I'm not an expertise, but these are my opinions, if I want them. So Sisters Royale is a bullet hell shmup title. It uses a lot of chibi 3D, very simple 3D, not very complicated looking models and that, very simplistic. Going through the menus, since depending on your difficulty rank, you might be of value to know for you. You can edit bullet size, bullet speed, TBS ranges, you can change the display, and that's pretty much all you got in customizing the game. A few nice little things, and then of course you have an easy, normal, and hard difficulty, so there ain't too much you can mess around with the game, and you can access a tutorial in a practice mode. Tutorial just, introduces you what to do, and practice is just practice. They're all high scores online and offline, so if that's also your cup of tea, there is that as well. So Sisters Royale's story is, to me, the interesting premise of the game. Outside of that, I found the game to be kind of standard when it comes to a shmup. Now again, I'm not a big shmup person, I'm more of a big JRPG type person, so take that with a grain of salt. So the base game has 5 sisters, but if you bought the strictly limited physical version, it also comes with the DLC character Odin. ODE is her name, and she is actually the reference to the Castle series. We'll go more about that when we talk about story things. So each sister has their playstyle. They're not customizable in any way, so their playstyle is what you get, and that's what you get. Now, some sisters are favorable for different playstyles, spread shot, homing, and that, so depending on your shmup preference in that regard, you may prefer a certain sister over the others. The lack of being able to really customize much of them is a little bit of a shame, but that's not normally something in most shmups to begin with. I'm just kind of spoiled because Blaze let you do that at some point in the game, which is fun, actually, in my opinion. But anyway, so the story is about 5 sisters who basically all love the same guy, and they hate each other's fucking guts, and they all decide to basically go and murder each other for his love. And that's pretty much the main point of the plot without spoiling the end portion. Now, when you get into the gameplay, like I said, it is a bullet hell. Depending on your difficulty and such, you'll make it easier or harder in that regards. Enemies are pretty plain and not very variety, in my opinion. The stages actually have a little bit more variety than the enemies, in my opinion. Each stage has a cube enemy as kind of a mid-boss of each stage, and one of the sisters is the boss of each particular stage. Now, the sisters, as a boss, don't play the same as your playable version of that sister, so they do have a bit of a difference, though. Now, on top of your just normal shooting, you do have a elemental creature. Now, the elemental creature acts different for every single sister. Like, one of them, it's basically a homing, while another one just does, there's another one that can do a little blocking and such. That one sister is the only one that can actually block too. I was kind of hoping for more blocking type things. The stages are very short. You do have a bomb system, and you do actually have a life bar system, which is kind of odd. Usually don't see that in a lot of shmups. Usually it's a, you know, you get hit, you dead. You actually do get a life system in this one, 3 hits and then you're out. You do have access to infinite continues, so that's not a problem in that sense. Now, like I said, there is a chippy art style to the 3D models. It looks alright enough to me, but looking at the mainline entries, honestly, I do appreciate the 2D art direction of the mainline entries, but the 3D chibi style does get the job done. It's not necessarily terrible looking at all. I just have a more bias for, you know, 2D art, you know. Now, what I do find kind of annoying about the game, though, is how it tells the story. They do use traditional anime, profile-ish type, flat 2D anime look and that, there's nothing wrong with that, but I find it very lacking that there's only one frame for every character. There's not like any different poses, expressions, or anything, which I feel like really hurts getting to know the personality of the characters very much. Like, they just feel very bland, and because the game's short and everything. And it doesn't help that, now this, I'm not going to say it's a localization problem, because I don't know what the original translated lines are, but I feel like some of the language some of the sisters have towards each other seems kind of, how should I say, low bell. Like, I mean, 3 of the sisters are very foul-mouthed to each other, using incredibly terrible language towards each other. I don't know if that was a localization choice, or if that is actually lines from the original translation. Ooh, excuse me. If it is original translation, then, well, I mean, that's the original translation. So, I always prefer having the original over trying to fix or throw in your own spin on lines of that. But if it is the original, I just kind of feel like it's just very meh. It doesn't get you to really know any of the characters. There's only one character I actually liked, and pretty much all the sisters are still shitty though, so. I mean, they hate each other's guts, so I get that, but nah. I really would have liked it a little more, like, developed, because I do like the idea of having, like, 5 sisters that, like, prophesize to save the world, and these 5 sisters, they are super powerful, but they all hate each other, so, the world is being, like, oppressed by evil demon lord and shit. Like, the premise of the story I thought was really nice, I just didn't like how it was executed. The characters got so little screen time, and they just mostly spend it calling each other willy foul-mouthed stuff, and it just, it didn't really make me appreciate any of the characters, really. I would have liked it some more frames of poses and expressions, would have fleshed out the characters a little bit more, in my opinion. But, moving on. So you'll go through 5 stages, and then you'll encounter the final boss, and then encounter one more boss after that boss, the final boss. And you'll have the ending. There aren't multiple endings. There isn't a super boss ending for getting through without using a continue or anything. So you don't got any special extras like that at all. So it's, if you like those super hard bullet hell type shmups that have like secret bosses with a secret ending for not dying in that, you're not gonna get that in here. If you're concerned about something like that, well then you've no worries about that kind of thing in this, because I mean I can understand being kind of like, I can't do that, it's too fucking hard for me, it's too insane. I really don't like calling a game shitty very often, you know. And I certainly wouldn't say the game's shitty. It's not buggy or anything, but it just feels very average. Like the music, for example, as well, like, besides the final boss music, it really is just kind of there. None of it sounds like something I'd slap on a CD and go down the road, tapping my foot to, or that or anything. Like, it just all feels like it just It's there. It's like an average experience. It's not terrible, but it's certainly not like the peak of its genre at all. If you're just looking for a casual shmup game to play, you could check it out. But if you're looking for really good shmup that you can play and replay over and over again, kind of feel like you're not gonna get much out of this one. Now, this is on Xbox, Switch, PS4, and on Steam, so its accessibility is pretty simple. As far as I can tell, there is no DRM free option for PC. And physical-wise, it's on PS4 and Switch. And as usual, I have the physical edition for the European from Strictly Limited Games, which was $35.99 in US dollars. Being overseas, you know, different exchange rate of money and stuff that. Now, value-wise, what would I give a value for this game? I think the game is about $10, honestly. I feel like it's just like I don't want to be that guy. It's like your game you put time into is shit or anything. I don't think it's shit, but I just don't think it stands out very well. Like I said, the only thing it really stands out to me is the premise of the story, and I just didn't like how it got executed. None of the characters had a lot of development or anything. They're very minor appearances and everything. It's just spent calling each other old hags and Sioux cows and shit. It's just, I always feel kind of depressed being negative on a game, man. But I would give the game a value of 10, which, if you go digital, it is priced at $13.99 everywhere. And the DLC character is between like $2.50 to $2.99. The price is a little different on a few different platforms. Like it's $2.99 on PSN, but it's $2.49 on Steam. So again, if you get the physical version of Strictly Limited games, it comes with the DLC character on the disc or cartridge. I'm not sure about the Japanese version, which as far as I can tell is only on the PS4. I couldn't find any Switch copies. Let me take another quick look on the eBay tab I got here, but I didn't see any Japanese copies for the Switch. So that, to me, seems like, oddly, the European version's the only physical Switch copy. A little bit odd, actually, to be honest. Now, if you want to get this physical, you're looking at a price range as low as the 47 range into the 80 range, depending on if you want the Strictly Limited Standard, the Strictly Limited Big Box version, which will wing you even more money. That's getting into the higher range. And then there's the Japanese PS4 version, as I also mentioned. Being a shmup game, don't really need the story. The story is very forgettable, honestly, so you don't obviously need to understand the story to play this game. So that is an option if you find it for a good price. I do have to point out the Japanese version is pricey in its own right. Like, for some reason on PlayAsia, it's $120 on PlayAsia for the Japanese version. I have no fucking idea why that's the case. When there were all versions of it for like around $50 on eBay. But the price range, basically, regardless of what format of the physical you want, is kind of all over the place. But there are a few reasonable priced ones if you want to still get a physical version. It is sold out on Strictly Limited's website, so no luck there. All versions of it are sold out, so that is a whip if you want to, through them. So you'll have to go through eBay or any other secondhand sites, but that seems to be its price range. Wouldn't really say the eBay prices are worth it much. $35.99, yeah, I mean, if you're a collector, that's not too bad. At least it's not like 49 or 59. Yeah. But overall, like, as a very light shmup player who's not really good at these type of games, I kind of found this as a forgettable experience. Honestly, Blaze was a much more fun game to me that I've got a lot of replay out of, and really enjoyed the story and the characters and stuff. So, me. So let's get into spoilers, shall we? Spoils. So, you'll get to the end of the final stage. You'll meet the lovey-dovey boy that actually doesn't know any of the sisters at all. He he never met them or anything. So they've been just like stalker love boards. Like, they fight him and then awaken the demon lord thing that's been bothering the world, which, strangely, that's one thing that kind of confuses me about the plot. The opening says, you know, this demon lord guy's been causing chaos in this world, but then it's like, oh, well, he's been sealed inside the guy you all have a crush on. It's like, so the world's been at peace then? Like, it doesn't really go into why that happened or how that happened, so I'm kind of confused about that, because they make it sound like he was sealed in him, so, like, how was he still causing problems for the world? I'm just slightly confused on the whole thing now, but anyway, you wake him up, you fight him, kick his ass, and then the five sisters all decide for once in their life to work together, take him out, and in a giant flash, he gets taken out, which actually kind of disappointing. Could have been an opportunity for like one more fight or a secret fight or something. Like, it could have been interesting to have, like, some kind of weird special mode where all five sisters are together and they have, like, a special type of bullets or something. I feel like it's a missed opportunity there, but eh. And then you'll get the ending. Each of the sisters has a wedding scene with the guy, and it is the only time there's a different piece of artwork for each of the sisters in a wedding dress. Now, when you play the DLC character, she is a reference to a witch character in the Castle series, and the witch you're playing as is a doll being manipulated by her in another world. So, like, the Sisters Royale world is apparently another dimension, and she is apparently hunting the demon guy. Now, I don't know the storyline for the Castle series, so I don't know if the demon guy is a character that's, like, from the series, and he, like, hopped dimensions or something, and the witch was hunting him. That seems to be the case of what's going on, but I'm not quite sure, because I'm not familiar. And Pad's a big shmup person, and he didn't even know the demon character, so I don't know if that's just some random bullshit they pulled off screen to be like, oh yeah, they know each other. Don't know, but she basically just encounters sisters, kicks their ass, confused by what the hell they're all doing, and kicks the demon's ass, and personally, I think the DLC character has the better ending where it just leaves the five sisters continuing fighting over the guy. You get to see a few different pictures of him in a crystal. I thought that was actually humorous. That was actually my favorite ending, honestly, to be honest, because I feel like that leaves it off on a better note of more chaos and that. But yeah, really, the only selling point I really liked was just the premise of the story. Outside of that, like, the shmup elements, or everything just feels basic. The shmup elements, the music, the art. I mean, shmups obviously aren't known for having super crazy deep stories, don't get me wrong, but still, I feel like at the end of the day, even the story just feels kind of average. Everything just feels average. But it works. I didn't encounter any bugs, it's not broken, and of course, if you're on the PS4 or Xbox version, you'll have trophies and achievements, and I can tell you the trophies you're going to be spending a lot of time with this game if you're going to try for fucking the platinum on PlayStation 4, because some of this crap is requiring you to do some crazy, outrageous skill shit. So, there's definitely, like, if you're in for skill, high scores, you know, that's pretty much a draw of a lot of shmups. If you're just looking for something casual, it's a pretty cheap game. Like I said, it's $13.99, but I'd try aim for like around $10. But it's just kind of average. I feel like there's a lot better games you could go look for and enjoy. But it is on the Switch, so it definitely has the portability advantage if you're going with the Switch version. So the stages are really short and everything. You can go through each character really quick. So, good for a car trip type thing. But again, I feel like there are a lot of better choices out there. But if you're looking for something new and you've played most of other shmups, that's something to add to your shmuppy collection if you're in that. But at the end of the day, I just feel like it's average. Nothing too crazy special to me. But again, I'm not a big shmup person, so take that with a grain of salt. But those are my thoughts on Sisters Royale. So, if you have any comments or questions or anything you want to ask about the game, feel free to leave a comment or message me on Twitch. And if you feel like you learned anything interesting, feel free to leave a like. If you feel like you learned nothing interesting at all, feel free to leave a dislike guilt-free. And until next time, watch out for the crazy sisters, because they still hate each other and they're still out for blood. Marriage blood.